Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group on YouTube. Today I'm going to do a rankings video. So yesterday I'm scrolling through and I see WWE have announced the return of the Payback pay-per-view. So I was just having a look through online because a lot of people remember WWE Payback as being the pay-per-view that we got Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt at the House of Horrors match, which um, wasn't the best, was it? It was. I thought it was a lot better than what people give it credit for. But I mean, when you've got little bits like Randy Orton having a shave on the way to the ring, you can't say it was a great match, can you? So anyway, I was looking through, and I wonder if there's been like great matches. Because I mean, there's been great matches at all sorts of pay-per-views, but it's trying to remember what's at every pay-per-view. So anyway, I looked through, and there has been some really good matches on the actual pay-per-view itself. So then I started looking at how many you know WWE Payback pay-per-views we've had, and then I was looking on YouTube, and I thought I put it in WWE Payback, and everyone's doing the announcement so on their YouTube channels of like WWE announces the return of Payback in September of this year. And also, there was a couple of matches that WWE put up on their YouTube account. There's quite a few people trying to predict the cards, bit too far in advance for me to try and predict it. A pay-per-view card for September when you're in June. But nevertheless, anyway, so I was looking through and I thought, do you know what? There's never been, well, not that I can see anyway when I was scrolling through, there's not been anyone that has done a top 5 Payback matches. So, there's been six WWE Payback pay-per-views. We had 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. Then he had a break for a couple of years, and then we got the one during the pandemic in 2020. So I thought, well, no one seems to have done top 5 Payback greatest matches. So I thought, I'll have a look through, see what matches there, and see if I can get like a top five matches to rank. So anyway, so that's what I ended up doing. I ended up going through all 6 pay-per-views, selecting 3 or 4 matches, which I remember to be good, and then watching each of them from the pay-per-view to then obviously make a list. And there we have it. So that's what we're going to do today. We have a top 5 WWE Payback pay-per-view matches. So, but yeah, like I say, so there's been 6 so far. Obviously, the 7th one's just been announced. There's been only one in 2017 was a Raw only, so it was an exclusive to a brand pay-per-view. It was back when they had the separate pay-per-views for SmackDown, separate pay-per-views for Raw. So that was 2017. That was the only one that they done where they had it as not a full WWE pay-per-view. It was only a Raw one. And like I say, there's been 6 altogether, and I was looking through, Roman Reigns, shock, but Roman Reigns has actually main evented 5 out of those 6. 2013, the first one, which was I think John Cena versus Ryback, if I remember now, main evented that. So Roman's only not main evented one WWE Payback pay-per-view. So I mean, at the moment there's no end game in sight with this title reign, is there? So I'd fully expect them to main event this one as well. That's coming up in September. But yes, there you have it. So I'm going to go through my list. I'll give you the matches of the top 5 Payback pay-per-view matches. Obviously starting from 5 down to 1. So let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if I've picked right, and let me know what your top 5 are as well, because I'm interested to see. And I think, do you know what, if this does good views, which rankings videos are starting to get some good views now, but if this does good views, I'll do it for other pay-per-views, and I'll do it for other companies too. Could do like top 5 AEW Double or Nothing, top 5 New Japan Dominion, top 5 TNA Against All Odds, that sort of thing. So obviously there's loads and loads of pay-per-views. There's pay-per-views they don't do anymore. There's pay-per-views like Judgment Day and No Way Out, And then obviously there's current pay-per-views, Wrestle Kingdom, WrestleMania, you know, that sort of stuff. So hopefully this will do some good views, and then it opens up more opportunities then to do more rankings videos, if it is something that you like. So anyway, I'm going to start with number 5. Is back in 2016, we had just the one World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, after they combined the two belts together. So we have Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight title in 2016. Now, this was when AJ had debuted in WWE, and you know, for the first couple of matches they weren't too sure what to do with him, and then when they finally pushed him in the main event, you know, he ended up having a brilliant year or two at the very beginning in WWE. You know, his matches against John Cena were fantastic, his matches against Roman Reigns were fantastic. You know, I deem his couple of matches he had with Roman Reigns, to be Roman Reigns' best matches of his career. I don't think he's even still now done anything that's better than the matches against AJ. But I mean, you've got to step up your game to face the likes of AJ Styles. You know, he is a fantastic wrestler and probably the greatest of all time in ring, to do what he's done for so long. You know, the only issue I have with this match, and probably why it's number 5 and not a bit higher, it was back when we had the Authority telling us that we were going into a new era and blah blah blah. You know, if you remember, we had on one episode of Raw, we had Triple H, I think Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Shane McMahon, and they were in the ring telling us, "Oh, we're going to start listening to what the fans want." You know, there's not going to be any straight away title rematches for the former champion. This is going to happen, that's going to happen, blah blah blah. They were just like basically filling your head with a load of crap, which they stuck through for about 2 months, and then just went back to old. But you know, they made a big point of it. So in this match, AJ Styles wins the match via count out. Obviously, the championship can't change hands on a count out in WWE. So, you know, we can't get Roman into the ring in time. You know, he ends up winning the match, but it's via count out. So then obviously Shane McMahon comes out and he's like, "Oh, under the new era, this isn't how we're going to have a world title decided, rah, rah." You know, restart the match. So it's like, right, okay. That's all right, you know what I mean? You're like, fine, yeah, because a whole lot of people wanted AJ to win, so it was like, yeah, sound, it's not going to end on a count out, that's fine. So it keeps going. Then Roman accidentally low blows AJ Styles, and then, you know, match ends against, then it's, you know, even Roman's like, oh, didn't really want to win the match like that. Out comes Stephanie McMahon, obviously not to be outdone by a brother, you know. Ooh, in the new era going forward, you know, we're not going to have a world title match end on a DQ, rah, 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 you know, restart the match. And so 1 was okay, 2, you know, you're pushing it out, it just feels dead forced, and then just lost interest already. So obviously Roman Reigns wins, retains the title, which was expected, to be honest, because, you know, WWE didn't really see AJ at the very beginning as being a main event, and you could tell they sort of pushed him into the main event because that's what the fans wanted, and you know, other circumstances at the time. But nevertheless, it was still a great match. Like I said, I deem these to be like Roman Reigns' best matches. I don't think he's done anything better than that since. And, you know, like I say, AJ had a really, really, really good, solid first year or two. You know, with matches against John Cena, matches against Roman Reigns, matches against Seth Rollins, even, you know. So it was no surprise when it ends up being a really good match, and it ends up being part of the top 5. So that was back in 2016. So yeah, that's me number 5. So number 4, I've gone for Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton in the Fatal 4-Way, which was back in 2015. So I remember when this was announced, I'm a massive fan of Randy Orton. I'm sure there is other massive fans of Randy Orton out there as well. And, you know, it did make sense for the storyline, but I remember at the time everyone being so annoyed that Randy Orton was in the match, because everyone wanted to see the 3 former members of the Shield facing each other for the title, which they ended up doing at WrestleMania. which we only actually got the once, which was shocking enough. You know, they could have done it more than once, but obviously the first time they wanted it to be a WrestleMania, so you know we didn't get that. But they did tease it, obviously at Payback. But again, another good match. You know, we had Seth Rollins, he come out with like J&J security. They were fun at the time, weren't they? J&J security, you know, as part of the authorities. Kane was out there, he was watching, you know, from outside the ring. Um, so, you know, and then you got Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. They were still quite pally-pally at the time, so they were working together throughout most of the match. But there's some great moments in it. Like obviously Randy Orton for me is a great wrestler. Like I love Randy Orton. I think he's superb. And even I was annoyed that he was in it because you just want to see the three former members of the Shield face each other. But to be honest with you, you know there was parts in it that Randy made. You know, and there was fun parts as well, like when he RKO's both of J&J security one after another. When he gets the Shield bomb or the triple power bomb, whatever you want to call it, through the announce table, you know that was a good moment. You know, fans pop for that. And then Seth Rollins does the old Shield thing, and then Dean Ambrose from Roman Reigns just like nah, and then they beat him up, and then obviously, Rollins gets put onto the announce table and it doesn't go through, so then they pick up Ambrose and Reigns pick up Kane and powerbomb him on top of Rollins, so then the announce table goes through. Then we get the part where they both get in the ring, you know, because they've still been friends this whole time and everyone wants to see them fight, and then they start going at it. You know, so there was some really good moments, some good crowd pops. There was a bit of fun involved in it as well, you know, with Seth Rollins trying to get them to redo the Shield just so they could retain his title. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I couldn't take my eyes off, which sounds daft, but it was Roman Reigns' face. It was just mad because obviously he's been on the telly obviously a lot, hasn't he, over the last how many years, especially with this reign of telly that he's got at the moment. But and you know, he just zoomed in on him on this one part, and I thought, why does he look different? You know, you just can't put a finger. I was like, why does he look different? Why does he look so different? And it's the eyes. If you go back a mustache, it was back when he had that weird thing where he was wearing blue contact lenses for some strange reason. He was always like, his eyes blue, but they were like quite blue, and obviously when you're used to him having dark eyes, I was like, I couldn't stop looking then. So I had a little look on Google, and you know, sure enough, he had brown eyes as a kid, and then all of a sudden, for like 2-3 year period, he had these like blue eyes, and then he's gone back to his brown eyes. So it was like, why he wore the blue contacts, I don't know, but it just started to take me focus a bit too much, and I was like, and he started looking at his eyes. It's weird. But it's just when you're used to something that changes, it's sort of like, whoa, throws you, you know what I mean? I think it made his skin look a bit paler as well, which is a bit strange, but there we go. But yeah, really good match anyway. And it comes in at number 4. Number 3, we've got Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens again from the 2016 one. Now this was the first time they'd faced each other on the main roster at a pay-per-view. Obviously they faced in NXT a couple of times for the title and stuff, but you know, anytime you get these two in the ring, it's fantastic. Whether they're tag team together, they're brilliant. You know, they know each other so well. They've worked together forever, best friends. And then you know the amount of matches they've had against each other. And most of the time they are bangers. I mean, sometimes you're like, oh, we're going back to Sami Zayn versus KO. Yeah, because the storyline has been played out and it's been played out to death. But if one thing you're guaranteed out of it, you're going to get some absolute banging matches, you know what I mean? They do go all out, and I think because they are best friends and because they've worked together for so long and they trust each other for so long, like, they just do some mad stuff that, like, you wouldn't expect, you know what I mean? They go all out and proper go at each other, but, you know, it's just part of it, like when Kevin Owens is stamping on Sami Zayn's hand on the stairs, he's like trying to break his hand or whatever. And Sammy's like looking at him, he's like, ah, and then he just like toe kicks him in the eye, like proper gets him, like it starts showing up red dead quick, and he's like just proper goes whack, and he's like, wow. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, but like, you know, and it's just like, he's just looked up at him and he's just got bang, and you're like, what the hell, that's your best mate. I know it's not supposed to be, but even still, like, you proper toe kicks him in the eye, it was just mad. But you know, we had Sami Zayn, you know, was the big face, and Kevin Owens was the big bad guy, the big heel. And we had Sami hitting the blue every time. Sami hit the blue thunderbomb. I think he hit it twice, 3 times maybe. I think it was twice. And KO kicked out. It was like, like the fans popped for it. And then obviously every time he kicked out, it was like, no, come on, Sami. But yeah, the fans were right behind it, and it made a difference to it. You know what I mean? It's not probably their best match that they've had. They've had so many in WWE, in NXT, in Ring of Honor. But it's still a really good match. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. And like you say, out of the all the payback matches that I did watch, like I say, I watched like 4 or 5 from each pay-per-view. This definitely makes the top 5. But again, it's no surprise because when you watch Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn together, they are brilliant. They are really good, and they protected the pop-up powerbomb in this as well, which I was happy with. KO was using that because it was well before he was using the stunner. Sami hits the blue thunderbomb twice, and KO kicks out, but KO keeps going for the pop-up powerbomb, and Sami reverses it like 2 or 3 times. He jumps and hits him with a drop kick or a hurricane and stuff like that. So it's like, when he hits this, it's going to mean something, So, and then he does, obviously, at the very end, he kicks Sami in the face, and he's like proper dazed. Swings against the ropes, brings him up, pop-up powerbomb, bang, 1, 2, 3. No messing around, no kicking out. Like, they proper protected that move. And to be fair, it was great that they did, because obviously, like, when KO first come up, he had the win over John Cena. So, I mean, if you're going to win your first pay-per-view match against John Cena with your finisher, needs to protect it there before and after. And I think they've done a really, really good job at that. So that is number 3. Number 2, from the first one, 2013, is Chris Jericho versus CM Punk. I think they faced 2 or 3 times in WWE, didn't they? They had the WrestleMania, Payback, probably a Raw or something as well. And, really good match. It was after CM Punk had obviously had the belt and lost it to The Rock. It was after he'd faced The Undertaker at WrestleMania and lost that. But, he needed it. He needed a big win after that. And, obviously we didn't know that he was just going to up and leave after how long. But, it was a really good match, and at the beginning it did look like it was just going to be a CM Punk dominated to put him over in that, but Chris Jericho, man, he stuck in there and he gunned some show, and it ended up being a lot better than what I remember, to be honest. Like, I remember them facing, but I didn't remember just how good it was until I rewatched it. We had, like I say, it was like quite a bit where it was like, Jericho get the odd move in, but CM Punk dominated for quite a bit at the beginning. Then he hits a GTS, and it was like, didn't expect him to actually connect with it, because Jericho had reversed one into the walls of Jericho not too long before. So obviously he hits him with the GTS, and it's like 1, 2, and then Jericho kicks on, and it's like, wow, didn't actually expect him to do that. But the match goes on for like another 5, 6, 7 minutes afterwards. It's not like he gets then beat straight after. And then we get a great moment as well when CM Punk's on the outside, and he does like a springboard off the ropes to get back into the ring on Jericho, like he was going to clothesline him or forearm or something like that. And he gets caught with a code breaker. It was a really good code breaker. It looked brilliant. And then obviously CM Punk kicks out of that. CM Punk goes up and does the elbow drop, and the fans love that. But I mean, the fans were behind Jericho when he first come out. A few boos and that, but it went right behind him. And then obviously when CM Punk's music hits, he's one of them guys, isn't he? His music hits, people go nuts, and he did for this in this match as well. It was back when he had like the little Wolverine look, and he had Paul Heyman with him, which is mad to see now because he's been with Roman Reigns for so long. But no, it was a really, really good match. And you know what? I'll have to watch the one that they had at Mania back to back and see which one is better. But no, it was a really good match. It ended up taking 3 GTSs to put Chris Jericho out as well, which I thought was good. To be fair, protected Jericho. He was on a decent run back then. He was doing well. He had the light up jacket, that was his thing at the time. He's had many gimmicks, hasn't he, and different things and that, but he had the light up jacket at the time. He was quite over with the fans, to be fair, back then. But yeah, no, 3 DTSs and we get a CM Punk win, but really good match, definitely worth checking out. And it makes my number 2. So we have a roll through now. So we got number 5, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Championship in 2016. Number 4 is Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in 2015. Again, another one from 2016 is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Number 2 is Chris Jericho versus CM Punk from 2013. And the only one from 2014 is the main event, which, if you haven't figured out which match it is by now, then you don't remember any WWE Payback pay-per-views. I've gone for the Shield versus Evolution. I mean, how can you not? Evolution is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, faction in WWE. I know it's all subjective to people and this, that, and the other, but Evolution was brilliant. It was fantastic. They all wore gold at the same time. All won at the pay-per-view Armageddon, wasn't it? And you know what? Like, it worked so well for what it was, and it worked for the period of time that they needed it as well. It didn't overstay its welcome. Every time a member left or was kicked out, made a big story out of each and every one, and then they all went on to become massive stars, didn't they? Obviously Triple H and Flair already were massive names, but then, bringing up the next generation is Randy Orton and obviously Dave Bautista. So, yeah, fantastic. It was the no holds barred elimination match they faced twice, I think, didn't they? And obviously the Shield being the new guys, they went over Evolution twice. So we had this was the elimination. This was a clean sweep. I mean, I remember at the time being annoyed that obviously that Evolution didn't get a single elimination. They had the clean sweep. But it makes sense. It does make sense. And then obviously with the storyline that come obviously of Seth Rollins then leaving the Shield not long after, made the bit more dramatic in that, because it was like, you just beat Evolution. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? But it was a great match. We had the Evolution triple powerbomb on Reigns through the announce table instead of the other way around, and then they done the Shield thing, which I thought was pretty cool. This was also Blue Teaster, if you remember that, where they come out with all the random light blue ring gear, which was a bit of a strange choice. To be honest, Batista was a bit off in this match altogether. I don't think he really wanted to come in for it as much as what we all thought he did. Obviously then he disappeared not long after, didn't he? Because he wasn't really used in the main event. He come back on the Rumble, lost at the main event, which he was supposed to win, and then he went into this angle that he weren't really bothered about, and you could sort of tell, you know what I mean, he wasn't really that arsed in this match. But there's one as well where Seth Rollins comes off the Tron onto everyone, jumps off the entrance Tron onto everyone down below, so that was pretty cool moment as well. So we go through, we got Batista gets eliminated via the Roman Reigns spear, shock. Orton was eliminated when Ambrose dropped him on his head onto a chair. It wasn't really such like a dirty deed, it was more like a skull crushing finale, to be fair. Pushed him down, he lands on his head on the chair and he's eliminated. And then Triple H again by another Roman Reigns spear. But really good match, no holds barred. They went into the crowd, they had done a lot of one-on-one bits, a lot of tag team stuff. Obviously, like I say, we had Evolution using the Shields move, we had Seth jumping off the top. And then, the was really strong coming out of it, and that's what they wanted to do, wasn't it? And, you expected then for this faction to just go on for years and years and years afterwards to dominate and, take everyone out, It was, to see who's the greatest faction in WWE, Evolution and the Shields. Two are, like, fantastic factions, a lot of history there. Both done well up to the point of even when it split up, the storylines were brilliant in both. We had Randy Orton with the thumbs down getting dropped back on Evolution, and we had Batista then doing the thumbs down to Triple H when he then chose to pick him after winning the Royal Rumble, to then obviously years later when Seth Rollins hits Shield members in the back of his steel chair, when a lot of people thought it had been Ambrose that had done it. But yeah, fantastic factions, and two really good matches. This was a really good match. Really enjoyed it, and obviously led into the storyline that we knew it did. But yes, so there you have it. That's my top five. Like you say, top five matches of the Payback pay-per-view in history. So let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Let me know if they're in the right order. You know, basically just let me know what your top five WWE Payback pay-per-view matches are. Yeah, so let me know in the comments. Please follow me, subscribe, everything. If you haven't already. And yeah, so leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and keep an eye out for more wrestling related content coming soon. So we've got more rankings videos, we've got more unboxing wrestling figure videos, and we'll have more WWE 2K videos, and I have just pre-ordered AEW Fight Forever. So when that comes out, hopefully we'll get some videos of that as well coming up soon too. So as always, thanks for watching, and see you soon.